Joining us now on the line is Ed Gillespie, who yesterday announced that he wants to be a senator in the Commonwealth of Virginia. He officially made his announcement that he is running yesterday. Ed Gillespie, of course, a former Republican Party chairman, man who was a senior advisor to Mitt Romney and a former counselor to President George W. Bush at the White House. Ed, thanks for joining us here on Mornings on the Mall.
Oh, thanks for having me, Brian. It's good to be with you.
It's good to have you on the show. Listen, we're very pleased to have you here because, there are a lot of questions. First of all, tell me, just a basic question. Why are you the guy to be the next senator from the Commonwealth of Virginia?
Well, because I would vote in the interest of Virginians. And unfortunately, what we've seen from Senator Warner, he told us that he was going to be a, centrist Democrat. He's voted with Harry Reid, the Senate Democratic leader, and with President Obama 97% of the time since he was elected. And he said that he'd be fiscally responsible. He's voted for $7 trillion in new debt, including that stimulus bill that added, billions to our debt and was $1 trillion cost for pork barrel spending. And perhaps most importantly, Brian, he said that he would never support a health care reform bill that would mean we would lose the insurance we have if we wanted to keep it. And then he cast the deciding vote for Obamacare. If I had been our senator, we wouldn't have Obamacare today. It would not be the law of the land, and that's a pretty significant difference right there.
And do you think that you're the man to put together a winning campaign? And if so, how do you fight this problem that we have in the Commonwealth of Virginia, where there are always going to be some people who might look at a guy like Ed Gillespie and say, I'm not sure he's conservative enough?
Well, sure, and that's why we have nominating contests, and, there will be some people who come to that conclusion. But what I've found, Brian, is as I talk to people around the Commonwealth and across the party, and I visit with every segment of the Republican Party, I find that people are looking to unify, and they want to win, and as they listen to me, regardless of what aspect of the party what brought them into the party, they know, and they also learn about my history, and they know that I'm a consistent conservative, and I've stood up for conservative principles for 30 years. That's why I've been involved, is because I believe these things. That's why I'm running. I believe in free markets and free people, and know that the key to actually, the Democrats talk all the time about growing the middle class and lifting people out of poverty and upward mobility, but their policies make those things worse, and our policies make those things better. And as I talk to Republicans who hopefully will come to the convention in Roanoke, I'm in Roanoke this morning on June 7. I think that I have a great opportunity here and a chance to be the standard bearer for Republicans in November and to bring our party together and unify us.
Ed Gillespie is our guest. He's the official candidate now, as of yesterday, for U.S. Senate in Virginia. And Brian mentioned this faction of grassroots conservatives in Virginia, and I was surprised to see that none other than the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee started attacking you even before you announced, saying you were out of step with Tea Party Republicans. That tells me they're worried about your candidacy. But I do want to let's take two issues up front here because a lot of these grassroots conservatives are listening right now, and they'd love to give you a chance. I would say that because you were affiliated so closely with the Bush presidency, there are two things that stand out in the Bush presidency that grassroots conservatives have a problem with, and that was the prescription drug benefit and the bailout of Wall Street during the financial crisis. Do you still support those two ideas?
Well, look, I think you can always have reforms, and at the time the prescription drug benefit was passed, there was a strong case made for it. It enjoyed a lot of Republican support. The bailout, the president, I worked for the president at the time in terms of the TARP program. I'm not going to second-guess the president, but here's the key. We need to look forward. We need to talk about what are the policies that we're going to do going forward. And I am not for raising taxes. I am not for bailing out private companies. And, I think the key here is for us as a party to come together and talk about what are we going to do going forward.
Well, with all due respect, Mr. Gillespie, listen, I think that people will give you the benefit of the doubt. You worked for the president, and your job was to enforce the president's policies. But now you want to be a senator. And looking back, another TARP could come down the line from this president while you're in your first 2 years as senator. How would you vote if TARP came up again?
You may have seen the report. There was a column. One of my colleagues, Mark Thiessen, wrote recently in the Washington Post, and he noted that while I was in the administration, and this was publicly reported in another book, so I'm not one to when I believe when you serve a president, you serve loyally.
Yes.
And,
and I respect you for that. I do.
No, I appreciate that. But others had had talked about this and noted that in a book about all of the TARP and the financial crisis and the auto bailout, that in the internal deliberations I argued against the auto bailout, and so I'm comfortable talking about my views. I am not in favor of government intervention in our economy, and I'm not in favor of bailing out private companies. I think it's best for the marketplace to work. At the same time, I'm not going to second guess the man that I respect and work for in the White House.
All right, so now just talk about the political landscape in the Commonwealth right now. It's changing. The demographics are changing dramatically. It used to be a pretty solid red state, then it became, the purplest of the purple, and now, a good part of the state, especially Northern Virginia, well, it's pretty blue. So you've got a very difficult task here, because you have to convince the people who might be, purple Republicans or moderates that, look, I'm somebody you can trust. You've got to also convince the Tea Party wing of the party that you're conservative enough, and then you have to find the right message that doesn't offend those people who might be Democrats but might be inclined to vote for you.
Well, the fact is, as I talk to folks, Brian, one of the things I find that I think is, and I'm trying to demonstrate, whether you are involved in the process and came in through the Tea Party or the Liberty Movement or a more traditional conservative group or organization or the Republican Party local units, we are in agreement on 90% of these issues, and we are in opposition to 100% of President Obama and Senator Warner. And I do think that people feel the need to come together and to unify.
Well,
so on the party side,
right.
On the conservative side, I feel very good about that effect. In the general election, should I be the nominee? If the delegates here in Roanoke in June conclude that I'm the best standard-bearer force, and I will support whoever emerges from that convention, by the way, in terms of talking about unity. I'll be for whoever emerges. I hope it's me. If that's the case, then you're right. Well, Virginia is a very competitive state.
It's a complex.
And we have to do a very good job to get our message to those independent voters who really decide elections here.
Ed Gillespie, congratulations on the announcement, and we really look forward to having you on a regular basis as you march toward that convention in June.
Don't be a stranger, Ed.
I won't be. Thanks for having me on this